All right, guys, got a cool one for you today. What we've got is a Porsche, but you all know that. You can see that, but this is special. This is a 2008 Cayman S Sport. So don't get this confused with just a regular Cayman S. This is the Cayman S Sport. They only made 700 of these worldwide and only brought 200 of them to the US. And as you can see here in this orange color right here, you can tell it's the same color as you'd find on a 997 GT3. That was some of the cool colors that they came out with for this car. It was the orange and the green directly off the GT3, and we have this stunning orange. And you can see a little pearl in it, and it is a little dirty, but it just came from the track a couple weeks ago, so that's okay. And you know what? Who cares? It's a Porsche. So this car is pretty spectacular. This is the review on it. This is what I think. I think it's great. I've driven this car plenty of times, and this is my first time being able to bring it to you. But can you believe it? 200 of them made. I mean, that is phenomenal. It has the 303 horsepower flat six. It has black wheels, the Cayman S down the side for the Sport. It got the black mirrors. It has the Alcantara steering wheel, the Alcantara handbrake and shift knob. The steering wheel is directly out of the GT3. So it even has, like I was saying, I got to figure out this tripod thing. The camera fell right as I'm filming. But yes, it has the Alcantara steering wheel, shift knob, and e-brake. And those are actually borrowed. I know the steering wheel is borrowed out of the Porsche GT3. So that's some of the cool features that came with this car. It even has the sport-tuned exhaust and the PASM. The PASM is the adjustable suspension by Porsche. You can stiffen up the suspension. You can make it a little gentler for normal days. But what a cool car this really is. And I can't wait to take you guys for a drive. So first I wanted to start with the front of this car, right? Everything says classic Porsche, right? Everything. You got the badge, the way that the nose just slopes up. I love the grille here. These are actually functional. They do provide air into the brakes. So everything that Porsche does, remember, that's going to be functional and aerodynamic. So I just love the curvature of this car. I love that it comes through here. The fog lights are perfectly placed. Got this nice little lip kit here and the HID headlights. Even has the chrome washers for the headlights on this. I mean, everything just screams classic Porsche. And as you saw before, this is the side of the car, right? It's got the black Porsche Sport or Porsche Cayman Sport S wheels. It also comes with the same brakes that you'd find in a Cayman S, right? The four pots up front, cross-drilled rotors. Everything right here is Cayman S Sport. Even the black intake grills here are black specially for this car. And as you can see, it even has some track rubber on it. That comes with it. It should be anyhow. So as you come through here, you could see they just carried this line through here, through the car, and it comes back up over. So it actually matches very well with the side of this car. I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful line. And as we come to the rear of the car, like I said, everything swoops into here. You've got the black Cayman S badging, boom, right to this nice little lip spoiler. This rear end, again, all Porsche. And with the center exit exhaust, what's it remind you of? A GT3. Porsche kind of took that liberty with this car and gave it that GT3 recipe for the Cayman S and the Boxster S. Now remember, this is before a GT4 was out. This is a 2008. So this was kind of them doing little tests here and there with the Caymans to see would GT3 owners or would people who want a sporty Cayman, would they go for it? And I think they did very well. They nailed it. And this exhaust, center cut, it's beautiful, beautiful. It sounds throaty. And let's hear what this thing sounds like when you turn it on. Now that we got to see everything about this car, every line, the front end, how functional it is, the brakes, how badass that exhaust is, now it's time to get in this car and drive it, because that's what it's all about. Porsche has one of the best driving experiences you could ever imagine. So let's get in this car and hit the road. All right, folks, we are in the 2008 Cayman S Sport. Now this is an awesome car. And as you can see, there's a bug in my face. All right, so we are now driving the 2008 Cayman S Sport. This is an awesome car, and I can tell you right away from driving, the seat is, it doesn't look like it hugs you, but oh man, is it perfect. It hugs you so well. It feels good. Remember, I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds, and it fits me like a glove. It really does. And the steering wheel, oh, the steering wheel, feels so nice. It's Alcantara. I love the suede feel. When you got your driving gloves on, it really makes a difference. And you know what? It is, well, I'd say it is perfect. I mean, it's not too bulky. You don't get like a big steering wheel with it. It's not too thin. It's just right. I would love for it to be maybe a little bit smaller, just a little bit, you know, just so it's a little quick response. But I can tell you what, we've got Sport on right now on the car, and you can definitely tell the response in the steering. It's quick, it's precise. It's just what a Porsche should be. And I can tell you, with the suspension on soft, the car rides super, super good. We'll actually take that off, and as you can tell, I don't know if you can tell how smooth the car got all of a sudden. And we're going over some bumps, so we'll throw it in sport mode. And you can already tell that the little bumps, you can really feel it. It makes a difference in a Porsche when you have the PASM on and the PASM off. And what's cool is Porsche did this. When you hit sport, it turns the suspension hard and turns the exhaust on. Now you also have the option to turn just the suspension on and make it stiffer without the sound. But what's the fun in that? And as you can see, turn in is really, really good. As far as the interior, I really am happy with the interior. I think it's really good. It is all Porsche. It's really nice leather dash. The seats are all leather. The steering wheel, everything is suede in here, as I said before. And you know, it heel and toes really good. So it's just a cool car. It's fun to drive. It's easy to drive. And as we sit here, come up to the light, we'll talk about a little bit about, you know, what it's like to have a Porsche, what it's like to drive a Porsche. I'm not lucky enough yet to have a Porsche, but it's one of my favorite cars. This car is actually my dad's car. And since we're going to Sebring tomorrow, he did take the truck, and he gave me this to drive around while he's got the truck getting the race car trailer. But it's such a cool car to have. And we'll wait to this light here. And this car really is easy to drive. You know, everything moves as it should. And that's Porsche. You can hear that throatiness. And I tell you what, through the rev range, it's kind of crazy because before 3,900 RPM, the car really doesn't have a lot of to it. But once you hit 4,000 RPMs, this thing starts to scream. And you can kind of hear the intake get a little bit louder as we got through the rev range. And that's just something that I really love. And it's part of having a Porsche. You didn't buy an American V8, you bought a flat six that screams like no other car does. Ooh, my little mic thing fell off there. So, you know, you heard it scream. The one thing I could say about this car that I wasn't real happy with is that the shifter. Why it's got a good feel to it, it just doesn't have any oomph to it. It's real easy. It's like playing with your kid's toy. It just moves around like it should. You can feel it go into gear, but there's nothing special about it. There's no boom boom, I'm in gear, boom boom. Like when you shift a Cayman GT4, it's one of the best shifting cars that you've ever shifted. It's just, you could sit in there and row gears all day. It's brilliant. But with this car, I just think that they didn't dig far enough in the Porsche parts bin. I think it's just a little boring, to be honest, because everything about this car is fun. The handling, it's so precise. It goes right where you point it to, but then you shift it and you're just kind of meh. So that's probably my one downside about everything in the running gear of this car, is just they could have done better in that department. But what's cool is there is a company that makes a full shifter assembly that changes everything about the shifter and makes it to where it should be. And I've driven a few cars like that, and it does make a huge difference. But out of the box, they could have done something a little bit better. But that's just a small gripe, because the interior is beautiful, the seats fit perfect, it's a comfortable car. You can go to the track, and then you can drive 5 hours home, and your back's not going to hurt. You're going to feel good. It's just one of those cars that you know, only has a couple flaws, and for me that's really my main flaw with this car. But I mean, it sounds so good. I just love love going through the gears, downshifting a little bit, heel and toe. The brakes on this car, they are strong. They take a little bit to get heated up. Once they're heated up, they are extremely grabby. They stop on a dime. It's a really good pedal feel. Now, this car has stainless lines in it, so maybe that's helping a little bit, but I do remember driving this car beforehand, and it did have a wonderful pedal feel that I thought was brilliant. And as you can see, it is incredibly easy to heel and toe. So we'll rip a U-ey here. You can hear it just come alive. Oh, what a car. What a car. That was awesome. I mean, you feel how smooth power delivery is. You don't have to shift it hard. The minute you shift gears, boom, you're back into the power band. You know, Porsche, bravo with that, because that's what puts a smile on your face. You know, tooling around's fun, but the minute you give it the juice and really shift through the gears, it's so easy. And that's where this shifter actually becomes a little bit better, because that ease is kind of nice. You know, you're shifting, boom, you're in gear. You can feel it go into gear. It just doesn't have that oomph to it, but you know what? It shines when you're hitting the rev range to the top. And that is brilliant. So Porsche, good job on that. And you know what? Hearing that throatiness, that is something else. Knowing it's right behind you. I love that. I absolutely love that. And there's only a few cars out there in this world that actually give you that experience, and Porsche is one of them. And that's one of the reasons people just come back. It's just so easy. Or maybe I'm just that good. The one cool thing about Porsches, well, there's a lot of cool things about Porsches, but driving a Porsche, it makes you look like a rock star. And what I mean by that is, if you know how to drive manual, or not anymore, if you automatic, the car will make you look like you know what you're doing. I mean, the gear shifting's easy, the steering's easy, the input is exactly what it should be. Where you point it, it will go. And all those things combined just make it so that you look like a rock star when you are trying to give the Porsche the beans. And that is something to say about a lot of cars don't do that. You have to drive them smoothly. You have to know how to drive them. But the Porsche, you know, it just does it for you. And then when you really know what you're doing and you give it the full beans, it is incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's where it really, really rewards you. And let's talk about handling, right? So the handling on this car is something that people know. Porsche's known to handle really well. And I can tell you, turn in is awesome. There is literally no body roll with this thing. And it just, you power out of it and there is nothing. It's like driving a little go-kart. Its car is set up very well. And I can say this one, I believe, has sway bars on it and a little bit of a stiffer spring. But oh boy, does that make a difference. Because if you see that, I mean, this turn in is incredible. You just point, it goes where you want, and steering's easy, steering's precise. You actually can feel a lot of the inputs that you're doing, which has disappeared on a lot of the newer cars today because it's all electronic servos and whatnot. But this car, I mean, we turn out, we hit this little loop here, give it a little power, whoa. Just like that. I mean, it's that easy. But did you see how easy that was? I mean, it's such a good feeling, and that's what more cars are missing. That connection to the road, the connection to us as the driver, and that's what cars are missing today. And you know, not in a Porsche, not in a Porsche. I tell you that right. But that's all we've got today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed learning more about the 2008 Porsche Cayman S Sport. Only 200 of them in the US, so it's a very special day to bring this car to you guys. And I really hope you enjoyed the video, learned a little bit about it, and maybe it'll be your next track toy. I don't know. But thanks again for watching. Please hit subscribe down below, hit like, comment on what you thought of this review, what you thought of this car. I'd love to hear what your thoughts were, but thanks again. I had so much fun driving this car, being able to talk to you about it, and I'll see you on the next one. Brock, go fast.